Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to the real episode 1 of Let's Play Civ 4 Caveman to Cosmos, the first 12,000 years. Now, before we get started, there are 3 more configuration switches to flip on. Things you can't do from the main menu, and you have to do once you're inside the game. I believe once you make the change, though, it should stick. In the top left corner, you will notice there's a little ladybug icon. This is to access the bug option screen. Bug is for a mod called Better Unaltered Gameplay, which Caveman to Cosmos uses. It adds a lot of nice UI features and all sorts of great stuff to it, and you really don't have to worry about anything else. But you can tweak a lot of options in here for all kinds of different stuff. But specifically, if you go to the Caveman to Cosmos tab, it is recommended that you turn on resource depletion, which is kind of scary to me, but I have gone ahead and turned it on. We'll see what the gameplay is like. Basically, the more you use a resource, the greater the chance that eventually it'll run out. Now, two things. In Caveman to Cosmos, there are a lot more resources, so the game, especially as you move forward in time and you discover more and more and more of them, the map can get quite crowded with them, so having some old resources run out is not really the end of the world. Plus, occasionally resources repop, and you have ways of finding more and things like that, so it doesn't seem like a terrible idea for balance. The other thing, I think, is multiple religion spread. In fact, I can bring the thread back up here and take a quick look. Yeah, it's multiple region spread, but I believe it's multiple religion spread, which was not turned on normally. It's turned on because I've already done this before. This means that, because normally religions can only spread automatically to cities that have no religion. Cities that already have at least one religion in it, you need to send missionaries over there to spread, which doesn't really sound very realistic. Like, I understand sending missionaries out to do an explicit spread religion type thing, but in any population where there's some movement and some trade happening, religions will sort of spread on their own, even if there's already an established one. So I quite like this turned on, especially with a lot of religions being out there, and with religion decay being out there. It seems like a really, really good idea, so I like having that on. The other optional, the sort of option that's not enabled by default is terrain damage, which is another one that's a little scary and hard to play with at first, but I actually think it's quite good. It's also very realistic and adds a lot of depth to the early game as you're trying to maneuver around. Basically, some terrain, like deserts, will cause damage every turn to your units in it. It says as they cross. I think it also happens if they're just standing in a square, but of course when you're standing in a square you're also healing, so your healing outpaces the damage. Or maybe you don't take damage at all when you're just standing there. I hadn't actually checked. But there are unit upgrades as you get experience points. If you get, I think the prerequisite is Combat 1. In fact, I can pull up the Civlopedia and go Promotion Tree. And Combat 1, and then you can see things. So Combat 1 can lead to Desert Combat 1, which allows your units to traverse the desert without receiving damage. Also gives them double movement in the desert, bonus to attack and bonus to defense, and that just keeps going up and up and up. Oh, this one is Desert, then this is for Dunes, which are another tile type in the desert, and then finally Salt Flats, which are another tile type in the desert. Interesting. This is very specialized. I hadn't realized that, actually. There are lots more promotions. Sniper, Initiative, like these, some I don't know. Some of these were already here before. Pharaoh's Propaganda. How do we get that? Led by Warlord. Oh, interesting. And then like all this like combat AI, nanotechnology. I think these are for like some of the late game robot units. This mod is insane. Freaking insane. Actually, I'm quite curious to see what the late game's tech look like. Now, actually, if you didn't watch the previous Let's Play, it's worth looking at the tech tree here, because it starts off so early. You literally don't even know a language yet. Your people are sort of just grunting and pointing. Maybe they have a word or two, kind of thing, but they don't have a proper language, and that can be something you research. Learning how to gather, like, bushes and things like that. Like, this is, obviously people could always sort of pick things and whatever, but this represents a greater, more organized scale of like gathering food and for the tribe, maybe. Weaving, cave dwelling, shelter building. This is all the prehistoric tree, and then finally we get into, I don't know, less prehistoric. I'm not sure what to call it. Some animal domestication, for example. Some more religious things, archery. Getting to this, so these are sort of the ancient. I guess this is it. This is prehistoric. This is the ancient era. This is where you learn your copper working, metal casting, and so on and so forth. And then classic era, Renaissance. This is the modern era. And then we have the, well, this is like really modern era. Like they've split these eras even a little bit more. Because this is sort of now semiconductors. This is sort of the present era. Guided weapons, robotics, globalization, space stations. Right? We do have a space station. Well, this would currently take 69,000 turns for me to research. But of course, my science rate may be a little bit better when I get to this point. And then we've got like definite futuristic things: cognitive robotics, powered exoskeletons, advanced computers, wireless electricity, which people are working on now. Oh, look at this, another category: lunar colonization, nanobiotics. Some of these don't have anything yet. This is what they're currently working on, is this sort of galactic era stuff, wormhole travel. So at this point, I mean, the games have sort of, we've kind of run out of stuff. Teleportation, cool. But there is a lot of content up to this point, and I don't think anyone is going to feel that the game is lacking in any way whatsoever. God, I should actually call this episode like 0B, because it's more setup. In fact, I will do that. I will cut one more time, and the next episode will be episode 1, where we actually start with the real gameplay.